trade deadline in the NFL was today. 4 o'clock, I think it was 5 o'clock, something like that. James Harden gets traded. I don't know how he continues to just say like, hey, I don't want to be here no more. And then he's no longer there. I think this is his 5th or 6th team now that he's been moved to. Los Angeles Clippers. I don't think they're doing much with him. I think he goes from whatever he was in Philly to now being a 3rd and maybe 4th option on that team. And they can't stay healthy anyway. But with all the trades going on, and then our Lions had a hell of a win on Monday Night Football, and they basically stand pat while every other NFC stronghold team makes a move. It got me thinking. We did an episode a long time ago about trades, but I'm going to throw it to you guys. If AEW had to make one trade, they have to make a trade. Who are they trading for, and who are they giving up? It could even be a 2-person to a 1-person trade or a 3-person to a 1-person trade. But you guys are head of AEW right now. You're like, look, we need a spark right now. WWE is as hot as they've been in decades. Let's go out and get somebody and let's make a trade. Eshaun, who are you trading for in AEW and who are you giving up?
That's a good one, Ashley. Hey, what's the head of TV guy's name over in WWE? I mean, yeah. Is it Kevin? Not Kevin.
The production guy?
You talking about the production guy?
Vince's guy.
Kevin
Nobody
Dunn.
likes him. Kevin Dunn. Kevin Dunn for QT Marshall.
That's okay. Deny.
They not gonna.
If you were playing 2K, they would ban you off the servers for trying to make that trash ass trade.
Look, hey, I'm saying, hey, if Tony can do a magic wand, that's what I'm doing.
Oh no, it's not magic. No, it's not magic. You got to give up a legit piece. So all right, so I like the Kevin Dunn one. So let's stick with that. Now, who are you giving up for Kevin Dunn? Because WWE's gonna come back and say, well, we really don't need anybody, but you got to give us one of your top talents then, or talents plural for Kevin Dunn. Who you giving up?
Wardlow.
Okay, and I don't think that gets it done.
Damn, they need more people
for Kevin Dunn. He runs their TV.
But see, you know what? Here's the thing, though. Here's why it might work.
Okay.
Right? So you mentioned the trade today with James Harden. Take our trash. Now, Kevin does a great job, but I'm sure at this point in time, they can find somebody that can do a equivalently good job.
Whoever's running
NXT job, right? Because
production.
Look, the scuttle booty online is that people in the company don't even like him. They don't even like him. Get your snagger-tooth butt up out of here.
I am kind of surprised he's still there. I am. I thought he may have been gone by now.
Well, you know, I heard obviously he's great at his job, right?
Mm-hmm.
But people don't like him. So, hey, you know what? Take this guy, get your TV together, right? Get this bad energy out of our office building, right? Give us Wardlow. We're gonna get him again. We're gonna get him a couple years and make him a star anyway. Let's just do it early. Boom.
All right, so you're going Wardlow for Kevin Dunn. I think that one gets denied too, but okay, that's yours. Rhodesia, who is yours? Who are you giving up in AEW, and who are you going out to get?
This is so incredibly hard. So I'm going to just actually piggyback off of V's. I'm going to go with Kevin Dunn. And if this is the olden days of WWE, for Tony Khan.
Oh, hell.
Vince McMahon, go up into Jacksonville, talks his talk, and get Tony Khan to come over to WWE. There you go. Deal complete.
I don't think they want Tony.
Yeah, I don't think they want Tony. But okay. I'm gonna stay backstage, and I would say I am trading for like Michael Hayes, and I'm probably going to have to give up like MJF, and probably one more. They're probably going to make me throw in one more person.
Wait,
what's people will completely trash AEW.
What's Michael Hayes going to do for them besides get racist lawsuits filed against them?
Oh, he's gonna help him write TV. He is the brainchild, along with Heyman and Roman, around the Bloodline storyline. So if you can get them to, yeah.
Huh.
And they said nothing's changed either. It was like some thoughts that maybe some things would change after Vince was kind of put to the side. They were like, nope, it is still Heyman and Roman and Michael Hayes in every segment and like every match. He is the producer for all their stuff.
I thought Hayes was not racist, but just a contributor or an enabler of drunks.
And that was one
Am
time. Y'all gotta leave that alone.
Okay.
He did. That was a long time ago. Years ago.
Well, the last of the people who are AEW fans would absolutely start ripping on AEW if you give up MJF for somebody backstage. Right? Yep.
But we talked about they need to be able to write better episodic TV. So I was gonna go talent for talent, but both of y'all went like backstage. I wasn't gonna be the only one talking about like Charlotte Flair for somebody else. So
I knew you was gonna ask me that question. I wasn't prepared.
Episode 79 is here and in full effect. This is the TFW podcast. That's Freakin' Wrestling. I am your host, Matt, joined by my co-host, as always. Eshaun and Rhodesia are in the building. Let's get right into it. Where do you guys want to start today?
Well, let's stick with AEW and their TV, guys.
Okay.
I thought it was interesting. There's been some talk, a little scuttlebutty online. There's been some frustrating creative situations in AEW. And, you know, Matt's favorite columnist, Uncle Dave Meltzer.
This came from Meltzer?
Oh yeah. Lord. Uncle Dave. And it's funny, you know, people say that he's on the payroll, but he has some things to say about AEW. So we're going to get to it.
I think something's changed. Like, he went from, like, never saying anything negative about... I think he said more negative or constructive criticism, however you want to look at it, this year than, like, all the other years combined about AEW.
Well, we're going to get to it because I think at some point, even if you're friends with somebody, right, if they do enough dirt, eventually you got to talk about it.
Got to call it out.
You got to call it out, right? You do out of love. So, and I'm trying to read this because it's written kind of the way Uncle Dave talks. And I get it, Dave. I'm with you sometimes there, depending on the
so then if you're going to read it, man, you got to do it. You got to do it in his, I don't even know what you want to call it, his slang. Because he probably says, like, 500 times in your quote. So you got to throw those in. Oh, my God. Yeah.
You know, just reading this is going to trip me up. So I don't think I'll be able to do it. But, but he says, if you follow AEW, you know, that a lot of stuff is being decided at much later periods than previous. Guys are getting their information on what they're doing, and decisions are being made later. There's times the day of the show, sometimes you don't even know what the plans are. It's almost like we used to talk about WWE, which is very frustrating for talent. A lot of guys have a lot of input on what they're doing, but they don't really make long-term decisions. So the stuff they're doing, they're coming up with ideas, but you don't really know exactly long-term direction. You're kind of coming up with ideas week to week too. But you don't know what the ultimate thing is. And maybe the ultimate thing hasn't even been decided. So that's one of the reasons why the show are what they are. And so I'm going to quickly, because there's layers to this, guys. And I'm
okay, so let's get
into it.
Okay, before you move on, where is that information coming from?
This is Dave from one of his shows, I believe.
But I'm saying, like, where is he getting the information from? Is it, I'm guessing, just sources? Is it talent? Is it
Uncle Dave didn't give that up now? I'm imagining it has to be sources.
Okay, do we think the source is talent, like wrestlers, or somebody else backstage?
I mean, if it sure ain't Tony Khan, nah, god dang it.
Okay.
So let's get to Jerry, and I'm going to toss you guys, because there's layers to this that I want to get into with you guys. So Jerry Lynn replied to one of these tweets. And, you know, Jerry Lynn he's backstage.
Shout out to Jerry Lynn, too.
He says, because wrestlers and God knows who else continue to leak info to the sheets, podcasts, etc. Hey, stooges, informants, please leak some information to SFW, please. So Tony continues to keep things confidential. You will want to know everything before you see a movie. Anyone who leaks info is doing damage to the product and the industry, guys. Matt, I'm going to start with you. Go ahead and react.
So then to summarize, Meltzer is saying they have an issue right now with the talent knowing what the long-term plan is, right?
Seems
Is that
right.
kind of because to me this is like a non-issue? If that's the case, why does the talent need to know what the long-term plan is? Let Sami Zayn tell it. As of the Friday before Elimination Chamber, he had zero idea what was transpiring in that match. He's in the main event. Why do you need to know what the long-term plan is? As long as you know what you're doing that night. And if you have the majority of creative control, and what I mean by creative control, I'm not talking about wins and losses, but okay, I know I got a promo. All right, you got a promo. Go figure out your promo. So like to me, this seems like a bunch of do about nothing, but maybe I'm in the minority on it.
I won't say that you're in the minority about it, but I would say for someone who's trying to come up with a promo, I probably should know how my next 3 weeks to 6 weeks is going to look. So I know what I need to put into this. Is this my only at bat chance? So let me just give it my all. I'm going to like blow it out of the park. Or do I believe I'm going to be in this campaign or this feud with somebody for the next 3 months? I'll have time to let my story or my promo simmer. I think that's where that's coming from. But you're right. At the end of the day, they're the boss. The boss don't have to tell you what they plan on doing later. Because then let's look at it from the macro side of things. I tell you what you're going to do. That doesn't happen. Now that can mess up morale even more. Like, again, that's a non-factor. Like, it's not even their business. It sounds kind of bad because they're their talent, but it's not really none of their concern or their business to drive it.
Well, and we haven't talked about this at all prior, so you may be thinking the same thing I'm thinking, or you may think something completely different. But for Jerry Lynn to respond to that message or to that tweet or whatever it was, he's backstage at AEW. He's an agent. He's a producer. For him to make the comment of, well, if things get out, it's going to leak, and then there'll be no more surprises, doesn't that speak more than to the backstage in AEW that they can't keep water, they can't keep their mouth shut on what the plans are and what the storylines are, because if it does get out, it's going to leak? Or if it does get out, then it's going to spoil whatever we have. Like Flair last week, I don't think that was anywhere before it happened. I'm going to assume there's probably only a couple of people who knew about it. The majority of their really, really big debuts or stories don't leak beforehand. Well, with WWE, because the company is so big, it ain't many times we can get a surprise now. You maybe can sneak one in like around Rumble, but the Jade thing leaked before WWE announced it. Orton coming back leaked before WWE announced it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like there is no, I don't know. To me, I just think Lynn saying what he said speaks maybe a little bit more to maybe where the conversation should go than what Dave said initially.
I have a problem with just him responding to begin with, because if you are backstage, that's stuff that needs to be internal. You had wrestlers and talent feuding with each other and Twitter fighting and stuff like that. This to me is like what you just said. It's because y'all people in this locker room can't keep your mouth shut. It's like, again, more is just so coming out that we don't even need to be hearing about. He shouldn't even have responded to that. But now that you mentioned Jerry Lynn, I think I want to swap him with Jamie Noble. You think that's a fair trade?
It could be, but we're
Yeah.
past the trade deadline now.
Oh.
The trade deadline was 12
dang.
minutes ago. Yeah.
Shit.
So maybe next year.
And that's NFL, mind you, not the NBA, which we talked about.
Oh, yeah, we
right?
got months left for the NBA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I said there's layers to it, right? So talking about Uncle Dave. So what he's saying is that we're seeing a situation backstage with decision making that's similar to Vince McMahon at his worst, right? And those shows were horrible. Those shows was horrible. And Matt, you mentioned something about, hey, why these guys need to know. I think Rhodesia kind of hit it, because at the end of the day, these are TV shows and they're not performing like they're TV shows. Actors know what the end game of the season is. They know what the end game of each episode is. Like, right? And a lot of these guys, that's what they are. They are performers on a television show. Sure, they're wrestlers, but they're performers, right? And so, as Rhodesia said, if I know what the end game is for a character, I can get behind the intention of that moment a little bit more, because I know what's at stake or where I'm going in that feud. If you don't know kind of where you're going day to day, week to week, you're not going to have the same creative input that you have, right? Because every episode I'm kind of just going balls out. And maybe the moment in the story doesn't call for me to go balls out in that moment because I need to get balls out really in another week. It's almost like the teacher yelling, right? When she's yelling every single day, or parent, right? Like, right? The parent, the mom, the dad that yells every time something happens, at some point, you start tuning, the kids start tuning them out. Like,
right.
Where for me, look, I'm the funny, happy, let's playful parent. Like, right? But they know when my voice get deep, they know it's a problem.
It's go time.
And they listen. Like, right? So you got to have that same energy creatively.
There's one thing
speaks. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. You go.
I think that it speaks to the creative problems that we're seeing. I think that's when you watch these shows, they seem very convoluted. They seem all over the place. Right? And so they're just coming up with stuff off the top on every show. I think it's the reason why we see all these storylines kind of all over the place and kind of herky-jerky.
See, but I call BS on that because if that was the case, we wouldn't know the matches days before on these shows. Remember, one of my issues with AEW that I would switch is because they are so dependent on the matches to get people to tune in because they are so match quality heavy that if they don't announce really good matches, people aren't going to tune in. We've kind of seen that as a barometer. They announced yesterday Omega and Jericho teaming up against Jericho Appreciation Society, which they aren't even a thing anymore. What's their name? Cool Hand and
JAS.
I don't think they have a name.
No, they got a name. I just can't remember right now.
I don't think they do. I don't think they do.
But like they announced that match
because they were 2.0, right?
Yeah, they were 2.0, and then. Yeah. But my point is like, okay, well, we know the majority those shows are flushed out, and we know as a viewer before the show starts, 95% of what we're going to see.
But we know the matches. We're talking about stories and character development. Like, sure, we know what the matches are going to be, but we're talking about stories and characters. So we're not going to get if we don't know what we're doing from a character and story standpoint moments before the show, week to week. How can you really build something if you don't really know where you're going? Like they might know the match.
Mm-hmm.
Like Tony isn't booking the finish a lot of times, right?
So I wanted to speak on this before Matt went, but you had mentioned that Dave had said that this is a comparison to WWE as first with Vince. I think I think he misspoke there because the difference is the talent doesn't know their overall storyline. Vince will have 5 different changes throughout the day. You wake up that morning and thought this was going to happen. Plan for that. 2 hours later, you get another thing 2 hours later. And then right before you go out, you find out a whole nother thing. So at least AEW isn't say, okay, here you go. And then, let me pull it back. We got to do it again. No, they're just like, okay, no, I'm probably not going to tell you until when you get here for the show. Where Vince, as we visually saw, he would change over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. So I think that is a difference. That's not even a fair comparison.
That's a good point. And then lastly, with the piece with Jerry talking, I think it just speaks to, I mean, I hate to say it, I think it speaks to leadership in that company. That this informant and these leaks is still a problem that Jerry Lynn of all people feel like he needs to say something online to put it out there in cyberspace. You know, I really feel that, you know, Tony needs to get somebody in place that can do this for him. Allow him to be the visionary of the company and let somebody else be that guy that people look to for action. Because at the end of the day, like, they need to have a company meeting and say, hey, who are these people leaking? Like, right? And just drop the ball. Like, hey, if you leak, I'm firing you. Like, right? If you like these.
But is that fair? Is that fair? So now let's take that to like quote unquote real world. If you have an issue at work.
Yep.
Your boss is coming in and telling you, hey, if you talk about this job outside these 4 walls to somebody, you get UX'd up out of here. I don't know if that's the right way to do business. Especially
a privately owned company. Let me tell you, if I own Big Daddy's Business of Extraordinary Things, if you got something bad to say about Big Daddy, I'm firing you. Period. I don't need to go through HR or anybody else. This is the terms of the contract. Detrimental to my company.
But saying something bad isn't this isn't the thing. What Jerry, if you take it just from Jerry Lynn's piece, he's like, well, Tony's keeping things close to the vest because he doesn't want things leaking. Doesn't necessarily mean something bad's going to be leaked, but you guys don't need to know that it's going to be Kenny Omega and MJF 4 weeks from before we even get it starting on TV.
Jerry Lynn said anyone who leaks info is doing damage to the product and to the industry.
Do you agree with that?
I do. If they think so.
Yeah.
Look, at some point in time, look, I've been lenient. We probably had some kind of conversations. Now you got to hear it, right? And so just so like, a guy like, let's say Rusev, for instance, like who probably wants to get back to another company.
So just start leaking stuff? Just start leaking his whole,
so he's like,
his whole storyline.
He's leaking the whole storyline, right? So guess what? You clowns, I'm just going to sit you home. I got you on the books for another 4 years. You're 35 now. I'm going to sit you home for the next 4 years. And if they're interested, you can get back there when you're 40. Like, right? I'm nipping it in the bud, and I'm making what is and I'm making examples out of people.
Yeah. I mean, and we've heard Jericho numerous times. They've had meetings of like, hey guys, let's keep it in house. Like, stop talking to. But I respect them talking to people though. If they legit have friends in the business, Sean Sapp, whoever, Dave Meltzer. If they have legit friends in the business that they want to share some things, I don't have too much of a problem with it. But if it becomes a detriment, then okay, we probably need to look at it. But this is not the reason for low attendance right now.
It's not. Nope.
This is not a reason for lower ratings on some of these shows. So I mean, I think it's a good discussion for sure, but I would just like to know the other side of it. And if now I'm just talking about just from Meltzer's piece. Like, okay, you heard that from somebody else. I would like to hear from the other side now.
Man, because look, I remember when my good friends, Matt Jackson, Nick Jackson, they told me about All Out years ago. Kayfabe gave me insider information. As a friend to the business, I kept it to myself. I didn't go online and spill the beans. I wanted to be a surprise for everybody, right? So if these guys have friends that are in the business and they're just giving information to, then they themselves are a problem when they're leaking this information for whatever clout, money, whatever it is, to the dirt sheets, in my opinion. But
well, I mean, you said friends. Meltzer used to be an AEW friend. I think he's a foe now. I know you had something else for another person who is not high on AEW, and that's Eric Bischoff. I didn't get a chance to look into. I know you sent it to me. I didn't get a chance to read it. I just saw something about Bischoff, and he having another issue, I guess, with AEW because I didn't read it. What is his deal now this week? What's his problem this week?
Well, the funny thing you say is that actually Bischoff was replying to a statement that Uncle Dave made about AEW and his over-reliance on older talent. So that's why I said, no, Dave is he's having a hard time keeping them lips sealed. He has some things he wants to get off.
Dave don't rock with AEW no more.
Nope.
So what do you say?
And so I'm gonna give you guys a quick thing because I just want to ask you guys a question. We have to go in because there's a lot of scuttlebutt's been talked about. He said it's not that the older talents aren't valuable; it's how you use older talent.
Hell, it's how you use anybody. But go ahead.
And so I want to. What I really want to do, really quick, I want to quote what my man Booker T chimed in and said on this.
Okay, stop real quick. Who said that line you just said? Who said that? Was that Eric Bischoff or was that Meltzer?
I was Eric Bischoff.
I should have known because there wasn't a in there. All right, my bad. Okay, got it.
Now Booker T, he said, right now, it seems like they're pulling a revamp of WCW.
Oh, baby.
Now, as far as signing veteran talent, guys well past better years of their careers. Guys that young guys could take either one of two ways. Either this guy's here to help us, or these guys are here to take our spot. So I got to ask you guys, they've been signing a lot of older talent. Their biggest accusation, maybe in history, maybe not, Edge. We got Ric Flair just recently re-signed with the company. Do you think that AEW is signing and relying on too much older talent?
I don't even think that's the right question to ask when we just look back at all of this. No, to answer your question, I don't think so. Again, it goes back to what he said, is how you build this talent. I want a company that has a blend of veterans and green people and young, inspiring wrestlers. It makes for a beautiful product. The veteran leadership in the locker room or just even in the company can take that company a long, long way. And the young people can stay innovative and fresh to keep the company going and be around 20 to 30 years from now. It has to be a perfect balance with all of it. So I don't have a problem with that. Brian Danielson, before Edge came over, or what's his name? Adam Copeland came over.
The Cope.
Yeah, Brian was probably, to me, the biggest person to come over there. And he's older. And we saw what he has done. I think he's made a major difference. And I don't think he stole from anybody else and took anybody else's spot, because whoever went in the ring with him, he made them look good because he brought them up to his level. So I don't really think that's the real question. But just to answer your question, no, I don't have a problem. I don't think they're hiring too many old people at all. And I don't even want to call it old. I would just say more seasoned.
I think that I understand possibly what they're trying to say, but they're completely off base. AEW is the best promotion for spotlighting and highlighting older talent. That is to me, without a doubt, without a shadow of a doubt, they are the best when it comes to, take Sting, exhibit A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. His run in AEW laps what he did in WWE, like 10 times over. And he's not the only one, but like that's
Christian?
the main one. If you look at right now, current champions, MJF, super young. Orange Cassidy, super young. You got Christian Cage, yeah, but he's doing some of the best work of his career. You got Hook. You got Ricky Starks and Big Bill. You got the Acclaim with Billy Gunn. Okay, Billy Gunn, we know what that is. You got Sheeta and you got Chris Stanlander.
That's all young people.
Yeah, what are we talking about?
Mm-hmm.
No.
So your champions are highlighted.
Yeah.
Your young people under the age of 30 is being highlighted.
Yep. And they're the pillars.
And
is that the thing?
I'm about to choke. But I actually feel that more people should be grateful and happy that the veterans are there. I'm not talking about what we think or what I think CM Punk came in as a veteran leader. I'm talking about somebody who's coming over like a Billy Gunns. You can't tell me that Billy Gunns ain't a great leader over there.
Well, it's only one.
I always say Gunns.
Yeah, it's only one Billy Gunn.
I said it again.
So it's not Billy Gunns, and he doesn't shop at Targets, and he doesn't like Real Lobsters.
Wait, Peter Gunns is with a Z, right, on the end?
Yes.
Okay, Peter Gunns is on it. Maybe that's where I'm getting it from.
What's his son's name? What's the daddy's name? Don't worry about it.
Oh, dang. Oh, my God. I just had it.
Tony Khan sent out an email, or not an email, a tweet earlier today saying that important announcement on Dynamite this week. Actually, let me give you what he said, because I don't know if it helps the case of what I thought it was going to be or it hurts the case. So what he said was, I have an important announcement. For many of us, tomorrow is the start of holiday season. I'll have an important announcement for AEW fans worldwide tomorrow, November 1st on Wednesday Night Dynamite. What do you guys think it is?
An important
announcement worldwide for the fans. And he brought up holiday season.
A TV deal. Or
TV
whatever,
deal?
a streaming deal, whatever y'all calling it. TV streaming deal.
That's what I'm going with.
Yep, I'm going with streaming deal.
Yep, I'm going with. They finally going to announce the Max thing.
Anytime you hear or read worldwide, do you do the Titus O'Neil worldwide? Or
no, because he doesn't even do it anymore.
No, I don't do that.
But y'all don't think about it?
No.
Not a little?
No. Not really. Not at all, actually. Yeah, I'm going with the Max deal and put full gear on that bad boy. And that'll be the Christmas gift for the holiday gift for all the AEW fans. Days of $50 pay-per-views is over. Please, make that
be the case. Hey, another quick thing before we move off the AEW. I wanted to ask you guys a question. Do you think that AEW spotlights their older talent better than their young talent?
Again, I'm going to have to say no to that, because Matt just called off all the champs.
I didn't say champs. I said are they spotlighted, right?
I mean, how many people can you spotlight though? If you have 6, 7 champions and they're all young, I mean, you are spotlighting them. I think because we know that they have creative freedoms while they're in the ring and on the mic themselves. They're not scripted as much as like WWE is. I just think that older veterans get over better because they've done it longer. So maybe they are highlighted more because they have done it already, where the younger ones is trying to figure it out.
Probably the question that could be asked is the legends that really you don't have a long-term plan for, i.e. RVD.
Yeah.
Right? There could be an argument of, hey, you brought in RVD, yes, to help to get Hook over. They tagged together in Philly a couple weeks ago. But that's precious TV time that could have went to somebody who's contracted, who's going to be there weekly, monthly, yearly, that you can try to get some traction on that way. You could have that argument, but I think anything else surrounding, the older talent not getting their flowers or being used too much in comparison, I don't believe that.
Except for JJ. I think
JJ
we all can agree there. Jeff Jarrett.
If I don't see that man again on my television in a wrestling capacity, I'll be just fine. He's also the reason why ticket sales suck, because he's the head of that department this year. And since he's been the head of it, maybe he's doing too much wrestling for him to really focus in on which markets to go to and how to price the tickets right. Jeff Jarrett, get off of my television, get in your office and get these ticket prices set up so we can get back to seeing you guys wrestle in front of 6,000-7,000 people outside of pay-per-views. That's my public service announcement for the day.
All right, so if we're moving on from AEW, I want to talk about WWE now. With Raw, I'm just going to say it, right? We giving it up? Besides the last 2 minutes of Cody coming out, which he did with some intensity, some crazy intensity, this was not a go-home show for me. The show was just there for me. It was good matches. I actually had a lot of fun with the Halloween match. I think that usually I used to get really mad when you had a gimmick match with women, but something about Chelsea Green that is just, man, you give her anything and she'll turn that into wine. But it was just there. Got all the Judgment Day. We got a little cute little spot from like the New Day talking about they're the new Judgment Day, which I thought that was cute. But again, it felt just like a regular show. We have Crown Jewel coming up, which we know is going to be amazing. We'll talk about that later in the card, but it was just there. And to the point where I was like, this was like a waste of my time. I could have been napping right now. And then Cody comes out again. He did it good. If I'm a huge Cody fan, that would have sold it for me. But Cody wasn't there. That would have been an absolute waste of my time, I think, for a go home show.
Interesting. I know you say, I think you say you watched the first hour, so you can't speak on the last 2 hours. It was a fine show. It was fine. I wasn't high on Raw last week. This week was kind of like in the same boat for me, but from a go home show perspective, I thought it was fine. They put heat on Seth and Drew. You got a fantastic Drew sit down promo, and then you got Seth kind of retorting in ring before his match. I thought that was really fine. I thought they did a great job of highlighting each women who's going to be into that fatal 5-way? 4-way? Like yeah, Rhea, Nia, Shayna, Raquel, and Zoe 5-way. I thought that was good.
Gonna have me,
right.
Have her for you.
Cody and Damian Priest finished the show. So those are your Raw matches. Those are the matches on the pay-per-view this Saturday. So I thought it was fine. To me, it felt like it was a show of just face promos. Well, outside the Creed brothers showing up and showing out with Alpha Academy, I thought that was a really good spot for them. So that was a great match. We knew that would be a really good match. And it was great just to see somebody come from NXT in the exact same package, the exact same names, the exact same attire, and hopefully get over on the main roster. So I thought that was great. But you kind of started the show with Sammy having an impassioned promo face speech that I thought was great. And you ended it with Cody's promo. And when I was listening to Cody, I was like, it's kind of hard to hate on what WWE is doing when you have so many likable baby faces. And that was kind of what I thought the show was. So I mean, I thought it was okay. Once again, I thought it was just there. I watched it late. I was watching the Lions game on Monday night, so I didn't watch it live. There were some things that I didn't care too much about. But overall, I think it did its purpose to just put a little bit more fire on for the pay-per-view this Saturday.
Yeah, it's a 3-hour show. And I think for a 3-hour show, they do well with the time. You know, as Matt said, the Creed Brothers and Alpha Academy, that was a really nice match. I think Creed Brothers looked really great in the win.
Mm-hmm.
Man, Alpha Academy, they lose a lot. Like, especially considering that, Gable was potentially going to upset Gunther for the championship just a few months ago. To see him now, he's losing in tag matches. But that was a really great match. And I thought about something, because you guys keep bringing up the comments I made about women's wrestling. I said they should get some writers. And every time I talk about a SmackDown match, I say I'm uninvested. I'm uninvested in those women because I'm not invested in their characters. And I think about Chelsea Green, because every time Chelsea comes on my screen, I stop what I'm doing and I'm paying attention. I don't think she's even the greatest of a wrestler, to be honest with you. But every time she's in the match, I got to see what Chelsea's doing. I think about like Toni Storm. I really invested in her. I'm invested in these characters. And so when I think about the women's division, if they can get more women and their characters over, I think it'll be great, because I love Chelsea. I love exactly what she's doing. And
shout out to them coming out as a Heart Foundation. You may not have seen that.
Man, so cool.
That was incredible. She dressed as Brett, and
Piper was Anvil.
Yeah, was Gemini with Neidhart going against Natty, which of all people, it was great.
Yeah, I like their outfit on Halloween Havoc too. Like, I don't think we talked about that, but that was a nice little outfit combination too.
Did y'all see how they were dragging Natty under the bus all night with the callbacks of when she was like drunk texting or drunk calling Stephanie and grabbing on Matt Cardona's pee-pee? And Matt Cardona tweeted, "This is what you call long-term storytelling." Shout out to him.
For real.
And then last thing on Raw. Again, I said the show was just there. I still stand by that. I am liking this new Xia Li. I am really, really, really liking it. So let's do that. Maybe for E, if you're looking to probably get behind more characters, I think they're doing a really good job trying to build her to being kind of like a dominant force.
Oh, I'm hype on Xia. I actually think they're doing a good job on Raw. I'm surprised you guys are down on the shows as much. But I feel like you guys watch so much wrestling and used to so many things, happening, big moments happening, that when they're not happening over the course of a 3-hour show, I think it kind of lessens maybe like what you're watching. But I think because when we talk about the show, you guys pull out like you guys like 90% of the show, but then you crap on it at the same time.
I haven't crapped on it. I said it was just there. Yeah. So watch it and then tell me if you feel like it was more than just there. It was just there. Like DIY got back together. I don't like they got a problem with this music.
Man, the music.
That music felt like something straight out like Super Mario Brothers. Like,
but no, if it's the same as last week, it'll be the same feeling for me.
Yeah,
it's DIY's music.
They have
DIY, music together now.
Yeah.
One thing I did like.
Hey, real quick. I wasn't hyping on Rebel Heart, to be honest with you.
The original?
Wow.
The NXT version?
Wow.
Man, that's
we
goated
could never
NXT
be
music.
friends. We could never be friends.
Because you know why? You know why? That music is for a hot chick, and that's not what Johnny is. He might be a chick, but he ain't hot.
What?
Look, see, that's why you don't watch the show. That's why you only watch the first hour. Now
his
you
whole
say,
wife is in the show. We see his kid at least once a year in the show.
I'm talking about Johnny's music. Rebel Heart is a song for a hot chick. If that was Candace's music, okay, it'd be hot. But
you just called Johnny a woman.
Yeah, he was like, look, he ain't hot. He may be a woman.
Hey, look, I don't know what he do behind the stage. You know,
but that doesn't change his gender though. No matter what he does, it doesn't change his gender.
Hey, we're not gonna have that conversation on the show. We can't have that conversation here.
Man, we gotta teach like sex ed maybe.
Right.
Speaking of, real quick, speaking of sex ed, we just need an update. Have you had a warm meal since the episode where you like told Katrina like she needs to only be cooking and all that kind of stuff? Has she cooked for you since?
Oh yeah, I told her earlier I was gonna buy her an apron. She down to make spaghetti.
Wow, he ain't learned yet. One thing I did want to bring up from Raw that I did like, there was a report that came out on Monday before Raw about the Miz, and they're thinking about turning him babyface to actually be with or to interact with DIY. DIY.
I have a hard time with it too.
DIY.
I have a hard time with it too.
I had to type it down so I can always see it as DIY.
And I don't know why we've heard the expression DIY all the time. I don't know why I think it's inverted.
Do yourself it. So
because it's FYI. We're thinking of FYI, and then we're putting DIY with it. So, but you know about Miz,
and we got a little bit of that.
Yep.
On
the ramp. Mm-hmm.
Sure did. We got him with the Miz TV with Gunther as the guy out there, and Miz was hitting him with some face words, and the crowd was behind Miz. Let the ratings tell it. I think that was the highest rated segment of the show.
No way.
So when I first saw, I forgot Miz was already a face at one point, and he had to he was like, no, I think he said it was 17 or 07, one of the two. I was like, okay, I don't really remember it. I think he's absolutely tapped out from what he's doing as a heel, for sure. But he's good enough to where he should be doing something on TV pretty regularly. So if that's a face turn for him, of course we know he's talented enough to get over as a face. If you are a good heel, you can be a great face. Not the other way around necessarily. So I personally kind of don't really care, but I am intrigued, especially after watching Raw Monday. I'm like, okay, this could work. This could work. So what's your guys' thoughts about Miz turning face? Is that something that you're interested in?
I couldn't care less, but if you're saying that he might have pulled the highest number for the night, then what the hell do I know?
Face Miz the GOAT.
No, Rhodesia. Hey, Matt said we gotta give it up, man. Matt was over there marking out in these texts about this face turn for Miz. He couldn't wait to talk about it. He was so excited.
I can't wait. Go ahead and pull up the text message and read them word for word. And then let our listeners. Actually, I'll read it myself and let the listeners say.
No. We can't keep the locker room. This is our locker room. Don't do that.
Let me read it. Oh, I got it right here. Let me read what Matt said here.
Yep.
Okay, let me read it. Y'all ready for this? All right. So we talked about trades, and this is what Matt told me about this trade. Hey, man, we sitting here stressing out over the Lions not making the moves, and they need to make a trade deadline. Don't nobody give a shit about a washed-ass Harden going to the Clippers, and he starts the show with it.
That's the shoot. Nobody care about no Harden.
Nobody care about a Harden.
But they got nothing to do with. Stop. But what's that do with the Miz? No, the text is, I sent you guys the thing about Miz turning face. He said, you like that, huh? I saw it and kept moving. I'd love to hear your take on it. I said, it's a big deal if it happens. We've never seen him as a face, right? He said, we sure have. Then I said, then it's not a big deal at all. Laugh out loud. And that was the end of it. So if you take that as me marking out about having the conversation, man, who said it back in the day? You're dumber than I thought you were. Was that Austin?
No,
Was that this is what I got.
Let me read my text.
You're dumber than I thought you were. Who used to say that?
Let me read my. Let me read it.
I thought you were. Was it The Rock? You're even dumber than I thought you were. Damn, I can't remember now. But I say that all the time. I can't remember. Oh well, whatever. But yeah, so that was the text message, and then we moved on to Tony Khan. That's what we moved on to. So
what text story was that anyways? I can't even find it.
Yes, the only
just look for the one search Matt marking out about Miz, and then you'll find it.
And now you guys see why E can never win an argument, because I just debunked it and he's still going with it. So now everybody's listening like, man, Matt be right about E. He just be floating and going on his own path.
If you want to keep going, so we agreed to take it off the pod, and then he put it back on the pod. And
so you want to read that too?
Rhodesia had to say, I don't care about it.
No problem.
Right? Then he said, I'm going to take it off.
So then with that...
Then I said, hey, Matt, you want to talk about it? Bring it up.
No, here you go. Rhodesia said, actually, what you said, never mind. But what Rhodesia said was, the Miz topic, I don't give a shit about Miz, but I'll rock it out. I said, E doesn't care either, so we can skip it. And then he says, if you got some thoughts, Matt, bust it out. So, once again... No. I have been proven to be right. I don't need to go back and forth with you guys. We have a PLE to talk about called Crown Jewel, which used to be a throwaway show. I pulled up the card just to kind of see what Crown Jewel used to be 2 years ago. And it wasn't a horrible card. Last year was pretty good too, but it is completely different than what it used to be in years past. You know, like we talked about it before. It was used to be a show where like they bring Goldberg in, they bring Taker in. That was the Brothers of Destruction, Triple H and Shawn Michaels match. 1 year. That was kind of the thing. And now it is a regular WWE PLE with big matches. So let's kind of just run down like we usually do. They're bringing the kickoff show back in matches. So shout out to that we haven't had that in over a year plus. Triple H has gone away from the kickoff matches, but we got Sami Zayn versus JD McDonough. Do y'all care, and who you got?
Do I care? No. Who want to win? Sammy, even though JD be getting his ass whooped all the time. But Sammy, and I don't care.
You know, I'll watch it.
Who you got?
I mean, JD's a jobber. He doesn't even talk.
Yeah, there's no way Sammy loses this.
Yeah.
I mean, it's big. He's on the show, though, I guess, right?
Kickoff show.
Because he wrestled last year, though, right?
Oh, Sammy? Yeah. I think last year was his first Saudi show. Or it could have been earlier this year, maybe.
So I think it's big just to have him in the show. Like, you know, years ago, I think there was a problem with him being there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. Religion and all that kind of
we're
stuff.
talking about Sammy's side of things, yeah. And, you know, and JD, he's, you know what, good for him to be on a pay-per-view or a PLE because he has put in work literally over these last couple months.
Cody Rhodes versus Damian Priest. Do you care, and who you got?
Damian Priest. And I care.
You got Damian Priest?
Yep.
Oh, no, he's definitely taking that 3-second tan.
He's not winning that match.
Yeah, definitely. And it's Cody Rhodes, baby. You know, I like to give it up for, you know, the people of my culture, man. I'm there for it.
His hitty is sweet as hell on Raw, but go ahead.
No, I mean, I don't see any world where Cody loses it to Priest. Unless it sets up, which they're setting up now. They're setting up War Games. You can see it. Even the finish on Raw was like, oh, okay. Yep, this is more to setting up War Games also. But Priest has the briefcase, so he's Teflon. He can lose the next 50 matches and then cash in if he did and win the title. I do think, though, he's in a position where if he was to cash in and win, it wouldn't be a shock anymore. It would have been a shock.
It never been a shock for me. I told y'all this back at was it Backlash when they were in? Well, no,
that's just because you like him. I'm talking about how he's been presented on WWE TV.
I thought Damian he was the only person at that time besides like your Cody, your Seth, that had an opportunity to be a big dog there.
What kind of champion do you think he would be?
Said what?
What kind of champion do you think he would be?
Is he still down with Judgment Day?
I mean, I kind of rather see Drew, but that's another conversation another day.
Yeah.
No, it's not for another day. It'd be a conversation about 4 matches.
All right, for another time. There we go. Next.
Yeah. Ray versus Logan Paul for U.S. Championship.
I care. Ray, drop it. Logan, get it.
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to the match, and I'm hoping that Logan wins because it's kind of stale on Ray, right?
It is.
Yeah,
it is. And for me, if they were going in this path of the actual matches, like match order, this is where the show picks up for me. Like the first 2 matches we went over, I don't really care much about Cody and Priest. It's going to be a good match. Of course, I'm going to watch it. I think it's going to, like I said, help set up Survivor Series. But this is where, like, all right, now we're starting to cook. Yep, I think the match is going to be great. Every match Logan Paul has been in so far has been very good to excellent. And Ray can still go. We talked about that last week. So give me Logan, getting the title off of him. And I am excited to see this match. And I think more importantly, I'm excited to see what Logan does with that championship. That's what I'm really excited about. He seemed really comfortable what was he on SmackDown Friday? We didn't talk about it on our last show, but he did his run in and then he had like a really quick promo segment backstage. He just seemed super comfortable in that role. So I'm excited to see him with the championship and just that pompous asshole that we know he can beat.
The only question for him if he were to win is that what's next for him and how long is he going to be there? What, you know?
Could it be LA Knight? I know you said that title you felt like would be a demotion, but coming off of fighting Roman, that's the other major belt on SmackDown. Do you go with that play for a big match? You know, something to think about.
He loses a world title match, and then he immediately goes for the secondary afterwards.
Well, I don't know if you do it immediately. I know what you mean by immediate. You don't mean like it has to happen like next Friday, but that may be the progression. Because what other face on SmackDown? Because I don't want to see Santos and Logan Paul. I don't want to see Carlito and Logan Paul. I don't care about any of them. And so if you look at everybody else on SmackDown, what other major or big time faces are on SmackDown that would make sense to be his next challenger?
I mean, at this point, it sounds like it doesn't make sense for him to win.
Are we switching? No, I'm sticking with Logan Paul.
Let me ask this question then. So, not saying that does he deserve it or do you think he can do it? But do you think he being LA Knight is actually, damn, this sounds bad, championship material? Like when we look at the top two guys of WWE, so you got the Raw Championship, the SmackDown Championship, in the 2, 3, 4 different 5 different combinations from now until let's say next SummerSlam, you can actually see LA Knight as one of those two top champions out of all of the people that's there now at the top?
Absolutely.
And I don't.
Because you're talking about the U.S. Championship title, right?
No, I'm talking about like the World Championship title. Because he had made a comment saying going from World and going down to something else that's like a demotion. So
but
to me, I don't think that's a demotion.
But we know he's not beating Roman. So now we're talking about the U.S. title. Austin Theory had that belt for like 6 months.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm talking about the main championship. You're talking about the heavyweight and the undisputed championship. That's what I'm talking about. That's my question.
Belt? You talk about Roman's belt, right?
Yes. You think LA Knight can hold one of those two?
When?
Between now and SummerSlam.
Between now and August? Absolutely.
Okay. And I don't think so.
Absolutely.
I don't think so.
Yeah, for sure. When you look at, this is a get over business. And he's over like Rover.
Yeah, why would you not think with the way his reactions have been, the way he's selling merchandise, the way he's moving ratings, what about him tells you, even if you think he's not ready right now in this moment, what makes you feel like that he's in 10 months he still wouldn't be ready?
Because I'm looking at who else there is at the top. So you have Cody. So now you have Cody taking the undisputed championship. If he gets it, let's say between now and WrestleMania, if he drops that within any time between, if he gets it today and he drops it by SummerSlam, that would be, I think, a terrible reign for Cody. And then over there for Seth's belt, I think you have Drew and Gunther as your main title holders. I don't see where LA Knight.
You said the SummerSlam though. That's a long time.
But that is what I'm saying. Right now, these people are holding these championships long.
What I'm saying
long championship reigns.
They can kayfabe another draft next April, and they don't pay attention to it 2 weeks later. He ends up on Raw. In his first night on Raw, he wins the IC championship.
Listen to what I'm saying. I said, do you see LA Knight holding the world championship or the heavyweight? So why you keep bringing up
because you just brought up Gunther. Gunther's the IC champ, and the reason why you think Gunther's ready is because what he did with the IC championship.
So you think that now you're going to compare a possible LA Knight run as an IC championship to Gunther holding his IC championship reign?
Yes. The last time Gunther getting millions of views on social media or #1 merchandise seller, he ain't. He about to lose the Miz. The Miz coming for that title. Miz is about to take over WWE.
I told you.
Clearly Miz.
He's marking out. He's marking out again for him. He marking out. Don't hide it, man. Let it out, bro.
Matt was looking for something to validate him. Hey, Miz had the highest rating promo. Highest rating.
He's hyping. I don't know why he's trying to play off.
Let
me ask you a question, Rhodesia. Like, what do you think LA Knight's missing? You feel like he's missing something.
Remember, we talked about this a couple months ago. I think at the top of WWE right now, you have Roman and Cody. And I think those are your number 1 and 2 for a year, 2 years to come. And nobody can come close to them. I even said that they are your top tier. And then even your A-class talent, which is a Seth Rollins, is still worlds away as far as that aura, as what Matthew, his new word, aura. Cody and Roman has it. So for me to see anybody taking that, to me, it wouldn't be believable. Again, I don't know the facts about how much LA Knight is selling or any ratings he's bringing over. I'm just looking purely at who has or who is him. and that's Cody and that's Roman.
So then you're saying he's missing Aura because E's question to you was, what is LA Knight missing? And you brought up Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes.
But I had said that months ago that Cody and Roman was something different, and I can't compare them to everything else.
He asked you, what is LA Knight missing?
You know what?
So don't bring up someone else. What is he missing?
I don't know. I just don't think it's fair because it's the same thing with I can say with Seth. Seth, I think, is probably one of the best wrestlers that we have in the industry today.
But he's the world champion right now.
He is absolutely. But LA Knight to me still doesn't matches up to him.
I think this would be a very interesting question. I think that LA Knight has it more than Seth has it right now.
Right now, I would agree with that. But that's why when I said
there it is,
who I'm going to see holding the championship soon, Seth
I
wasn't one of them.
I think that LA Knight has it more than Drew McIntyre has it right now.
Ooh.
And we got 2 championships.
I won't argue that. But I'm just looking at how they're telling the story right now. I can see Drew holding the world title, the heavyweight title, before LA Knight.
Of course, before and then eventually drop into LA Knight, right?
Yeah, because you said August. If we're having this conversation between now and the Rumble, I get it. But you're giving it almost 10 months, and then you can't give us the reason why you feel like, if you don't like him, just say he's not it for me. But
no, but that's not it.
Yeah, just don't bring up like Roman and Cody. Those are 2 like massive stars. We're not talking about them. This isn't real legit shoot sports where your top people hold the belts. This is a worked environment where he is hot as fish grease right now, and you're saying like you still don't think he's ready for the title because you're bringing up somebody else.
Not saying that he wasn't ready for the title. Never said that. I said I don't see him being one of the holders of the main championships. That is what I said. Never said that he wasn't ready and he didn't deserve it. I never said that thing.
Well, I think it's an interesting conversation only because it's obviously something about LA Knight that doesn't do it for you as a fan. So, it might be other fans that actually feels that way about him. So it's just kind of interesting to kind of like, hey, what is it about LA Knight that doesn't capture you as a fan?
It reminds me a lot of like Sammy. When I remember Sammy was over and hot as fish grease, as you just said, and I said I never saw Sammy winning the championship. It's just something about. Remember when Vince told Daniel Bryan he was a B+ player?
Sammy was over though because of the bloodline story. LA Knight's over because of LA Knight. Because LA Knight was just over when he wasn't in a feud, and he was getting the and the catchphrases and the big pops. Of course, it's built, over time. But Sammy's was strictly because of what he did in the bloodline.
Well, let's see how this age.
I think that's the difference.
Let's see how this age, and I don't see him holding it.
Oh no, you didn't ask us. Did we think he's going to hold it? That was never.
Okay, no. Okay, let's go to the next topic. Let's go to the next.
Yeah, that wasn't a question. Let's
go to the next topic. Let's go to the. Well, shit, I can. I can go to WWE and say I am now. I don't want to say that. Never mind.
Oh no.
I can go and be a women's champion.
So you Jade now? That's who you think you are?
No, I think I'm Rhodesia freaking Pool.
All right. Oh. And then you're going to take your first bump, and I got to hear about how you got a concussion for 2 weeks. I ain't trying to hear that, man. No, you good. You good. Just come in number 32 at the Rumble. Speaking of women, Io Sky versus Bianca Belair, Women's Championship. I'm going to go Io again because I don't think Bianca, not enough time has gone by for her to get the belt.
Yeah.
But I can see them putting the belt on her because Jay's got to be coming soon, right?
What's soon? That's relative.
I mean, I'm just saying, just in general, it's November now. Speaking of November, real quick question. When is it too early to play Christmas music? I'm thinking about firing it up this week.
2 weeks ago would have been too early.
That's what I'm talking about.
I got soft Christmas music playing behind me right now.
Joy well, for me, I actually put up the tree the week of Thanksgiving.
Oh, that's late, man.
That's super late.
You only got a month to enjoy that beautiful tree. So is that what you're saying too with Christmas music? You got to wait till Thanksgiving?
Yeah.
Wow.
Damn. But I kind of feel like, right, if you go into retail stores, you start hearing the music around
tomorrow or today.
Yeah, around the Thanksgiving holidays, it starts blending in. Shoot, actually, I might go to Home Depot. There might be some stuff there now for me to pick up.
See?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to supermarket because I'm sure they're gonna have all the Halloween candy on sale. You got to go get it. either to tomorrow or the next day. 90% off. If it's got a Halloween thing on it, they're gonna sell it 90% off. I'm excited.
Oh, for sure, man. Like at the Walmart I used to work inside of, you can get it for like 50 cents.
See, I'm
They-
excited.
Like right by the door, man. But for me, I stay away from that. That's why I'm a big daddy. So I'm trying to get to a littler daddy. If I get away from that thing. But going back to Bianca though, I'm going Bianca Belair. Don't do that. People know. People know me. People know me.
So you going Bianca to win the championship?
I'm going Bianca. I'm because I want her to put EO in that whole storyline out of misery.
Eshaun is batting 1,000 with Bianca winning PLEs this year. Every PLE match she has had,
he's picking her.
Has one in I would say Belair. Wait, Billy wants Belair to win. It's cool. I appreciate that, but I think EO's going to keep it to Mania.
Wow, that long, huh? I don't think she's keeping to Mania.
Remember, because I told you I think Bailey's going to go after her.
Well, remember, I said I thought that Kairi Sane was going to.
I keep forgetting about her too, but she's not here yet, so it's not realized yet. So I'll just wait. And
I don't think Bailey and EO is a main event caliber women's main event.
Remember,
I don't think Kairi Sane is either.
Remember, this is writable television. We got to write and build to the people to be able to be that.
Well, according to you, no, because LA Knight still ain't where he needs to be.
And he won't even be there a year from now. Good
right.
Lord.
I see it already. All elite. LA Knight is all elite.
LA to the new TNA.
Hey, fire that man.
That is absolutely nuts. John Cena versus Solo Sikoa.
Put over Solo. And I care because we're about to probably not see many John Cena matches. So I care about the match.
I think this is it for him.
Wow.
This originally was supposed to be it. He was supposed to be done at this show. So I don't know if something changed because Hollywood isn't completely back yet.
Oh, okay, got it. This was that timeline that he said he'd be back for.
Yeah.
Put Solo over, and I do care about the match.
I hate to say it. Cena made me care. I don't want to see him take the 3-second tan. I want to see him win. I feel bad for him. He's letting everybody down, and I'm falling for it.
Even himself. Even himself. He's letting himself down. He don't even know if he can do it anymore.
And at the same time, if he goes down to the spike, what's that going to mean for John Cena and the kids and the Make It Rich and the movies? No more. Oh my God! Right? Like the boys love John Cena. Like when he comes on, they throw up the sign.
Solo has only lost to Cody, right?
I think so.
Isn't that it? I have a feeling who took the pin? No, Roman took the pin in their tag match against the Usos. I thought Solo lost one. I thought he lost another
somewhere
one.
to somebody.
Yeah, to something.
Yeah.
But, I mean, he's been super protected since it's been a year now, and we're talking about him taking 2 pins on TV. He can take one more. And I think it makes sense because the story they're telling with Cena, I don't know, it makes sense for him to lose again. And he got hit with the spike on SmackDown. When he hit him with the spike, it's like, all right, well, wrestling angles 101. If the heel hits the face with their finish before the match, it won't happen during the match. And
so then Cody is going to lose then at Crown Jewel, right? Since the go home show, he ended on top.
Well, did he? Because Priest was also standing up, so nobody was left laying.
Okay, Cody was proven to be dominant to end the show.
Cody, Jay, Sammy, and Sammy was hyping him up too.
Big time. He was hugging him and loving him. I'm like, sir.
Look at Sammy. That crowd was there for it though.
Yeah.
Crowd was there for it. Yeah, so then give me Cena and absolute, like I said, every other match on this show, I'm excited for. 5-way. Rhea Ripley, Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler, Raquel Rodriguez, and Zoe Stark. No way Rhea loses. And I do care just because either we're going to come on our show on Sunday and say, man, that 5-way was fantastic. Or we're going to come on this show and say, damn, that 5-way was not it. It ain't going to be no in between on this one.
I was going to just say that it'd be entertaining. So maybe it's be entertainingly bad or entertainingly good. But yeah, same sentiment.
I don't want to. I'm not interested in this at all. If Chelsea was in the match, I'm watching. I'm watching.
No,
But she's
no
not in the
women's
match.
tag match
I'm good.
on this show. But you got Rhea, right?
But I was gonna say, is there any chance? Because this, if they want to take the belt off of her for whatever reason, this would be the time to do it because she doesn't have to necessarily
Get pinned.
take the pin. Right?
Correct.
So if they wanted to get the belt off of her for whatever reason, for storyline purposes, this would be the time to do it because she doesn't have to get pinned. Do you guys see her losing the title for any purpose? Because, you know, if you're going to do it, this is the time to do it.
Maybe a few weeks ago, or maybe about a month ago, maybe so, I could see her dropping it. At this point, I just don't, because I think the story they're trying to tell right now is between Damian and Rhea kind of going back and forth and fighting for the alpha spot. I guess her dropping it could then make Damian then the alpha. I don't know. I don't think so. I think if this was a month ago, I could probably see her dropping it or her losing. I don't think so.
Because I asked that real quick, Matt. Because what's Rhea's next feud in her division? Like, now she's the star of the show,
right?
Of Raw, right? But she's so far above everyone else in her own division. This would be a perfect opportunity to maybe build. I hate to say it, Nia Jax, giving her the championship, and now Rhea is, fighting to get her title back. Occupy her for some time.
If you were going to say, hey, Matt, you got to pick somebody outside of Rhea, I would have went Nia Jax. And you have Nia Jax dominate until Jade comes, and then Jade takes the title off of her like immediately. Like, that was when I first saw Nia Jax come back, and then we heard Jade was signed. I think we heard Jade was signed first. I can't remember how it went. However, but I just remember thinking to myself, like, okay, you build up Nia as a monster for Jade to beat her.
No, I don't want. No, we don't want to see that match.
So when you were saying Nia runs rampant until Jay comes, you meant like for at Crown Jewel that soon? You mean, or you mean like she runs wild as a title holder for months and then Jade comes in? What was your time?
Well, I mean, it's already been a month already for Jade. Like, how? So do we put Jade in the Rumble, or do we have Jade come before that? Even if we put Jade in the Rumble, you're only talking 2 months. Nia could run roughshod on Raw.
You want to keep,
if they wanted to do that.
You want to keep Jade and Nia far away from each other.
No, because it would be a squash match. That's what I'm saying. Like, she would come in and literally squash her. I just don't know if they're going to come in. I don't know if they're going to have her come in that strong and take the title, though.
But you want her, like, her finish, I forget what she calls her glam slam. Like, you want her to put that boy over. So unless she can lift Nia up, and
which I think she can.
Clean. I mean, not just get her up. Right? You remember back in the day, I don't think you do, or I don't think you watched, but Lex Luger, right? He was getting hot like in the late 90s. He was putting everybody in the torture rack. He was putting everybody like giant. He's putting them on, but he wasn't really putting them in a torture. He kind of lifted him a little bit and dropped him, just showing he got him up there. Like, right? You want Nia you want her to lift her up and get her down like strong. Like, if she got to kind of lift her up and kind of toss her down a little bit when it looks kind of weak, I don't think that's really what you want to get over, like, with Jade. I think with Jade, she got to pick that chick up and boom, hit her.
I don't think that's the issue at all. I think that I don't want Jade around right now. I think we have perfection in a bottle right now. Right now. Let's make sure when we truly debut that onto WWE, I just added a W.
You
to
did.
WWE, not
Worldwide
the WWE.
Wrestling
Entertainment. Worldwide. When you debut her, we need to make sure.
Just so you know, I set you up for that.
You're welcome. Thank you.
It's called a callback.
But you were supposed to do it with me, though. And I done hurt my hand on the microphone.
Nah. I ain't doing that shit.
Anyways. Because you
Seth Rollins versus Drew McIntyre.
I knew it. See, I knew his cadence in his voice. You such an ass wipe, I swear. Go ahead.
World Heavyweight Championship.
Is it time?
Can Drew put Seth out of his misery? That's what I'm hoping. I want
on this go around, or,
but you know what? I kind of want Drew to win the championship once he gets to his final form, evolved state. Yeah,
yeah, like the final character. Yep.
When he evolves to his final heel stage, that's when I want him to win the championship. He's not there yet.
When is that Belgium thing, or is that a whole different company?
No, that's next year. That's next. I think, was that July?
That's far from now. Okay.
Yeah. I think it's next July.
Let's take Seth out back and put him out of his misery. Not saying he's in misery, but let's just do it. Let Drew win. I'm excited for the match.
No, I'm going Seth. I'm going Seth. And then this is what kind of further takes Drew over the edge for another championship match.
What would be really cool
we still have Damian Priest though.
is if we get some type of shenanigans or callback to when Rhea and McIntyre was backstage a few weeks ago on Raw talking. We don't know what they were talking about.
We don't.
And they mentioned it like 1 week, and then I don't think there was anything said over the last like 2 weeks. Or I know for sure they didn't say anything this week about it. It'd be cool if they cash that chip in on Saturday, or maybe they still kind of wait. But
hey, and they was kicking it too.
Yeah,
like the way they was like kind of sitting, like they was kind of kicking it. Like it seemed like a conversation they were having out of character almost. Man, like their body language.
This girl Rhea got the brown guys loving her. They loving some Rhea Ripley. You get Jay, you got Xavier Woods.
It is a lot to love about that girl. So, I mean, we really just want to go like straight off the beaten path. We could say Judgment Day helps Drew win. Priest loses earlier night. They kick him out of the Judgment Day. Drew is the new head guy, and like, there's a lot of things we can play with, but I don't think it's time yet. Give me Seth winning, and then have Drew just absolutely destroy him after the match. Have him turn heel, completely turn heel. No, sometime I'm a face, sometime I'm a heel, and now we're off and running. But then if we do that, I don't think Gunther's going anywhere anytime soon as the IC champ, and he's not turning face. So you're not going to have both of your title holders as heels on Raw, even though you got Jay there, you got Cody there right now, you got Sammy there right now. That's just a lot of heels at the top of the card. So it would just suck if Drew doesn't get another shot.
I would say this, and he
hasn't signed a contract either. Still,
this could be everything, and this could be nothing. Who is Shinsuke talking to?
Who you thinking?
I don't know. That's actually what I was literally thinking. Like, who is he talking about right now?
CM Punk.
Okay, I think this show is done.
No. All right.
As y'all tell
Main
us,
event.
sure.
Roman Reigns versus LA Knight.
We already know Rhodesia's answer. So Matt, who you got?
I can't believe you hate LA Knight as much as you do. That's crazy.
It is.
What
it is kind of crazy.
in the world? Y'all,
of course I'm going Roman Reigns. I think it's a 99.99% chance Roman wins. I'm just more excited to see how they protect LA Knight. You said something on Sunday's pod, E, that kind of got me thinking. I was like, they're not going to do it because it will spit in the face of everything they've done so far. I would love to see Roman squash LA Knight. Like a literal squash match. It's not going to happen because you can take a ton of momentum away from him. But with Roman's kind of talking like, you hadn't even been here before. Do you even know what the contract's kind of what he did to Cody? He kind of little brothered him in their first promo segment heading into WrestleMania. Like, I'm going to teach you what your dad didn't teach you, et cetera, et cetera. I think it would be incredible. And then LA Knight has to humble himself just a little bit of like, yep, I wasn't ready, but I guarantee I'll be ready next time. And maybe that's how we get him down into the U.S. title picture. I don't know. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's going to be a great back and forth match, but I am excited to see how they save him. I don't think Solo comes in. I think it's something else to it, but you just can't have LA Knight lose clean, I don't think.
I think we get some kind of protective finish, like kind of like what they try to do with Cody at Mania, right? It was a bunch of shenanigans happens and LA Knight wins, but like you said, like I could see, LA Knight possibly having kind of an embarrassing defeat. I think the thing he's missing, and maybe this is the reason why Rhodesia hates him so much, is that he doesn't have a story. Like, right? We don't know much about this guy, and this could be a way of him rebuilding himself, right? Starting over from scratch, from the bottom, going right back to the top. Because all roads point to Roman and Cody, right? I don't think we're gonna get The Rock. I think that was a dream that we're never going to get realized.
And I think I'm okay with it now. I do. I think I'm okay with not seeing it. Like, don't give it to me when it's way past Rock's prime. I mean, he's already way past his prime right now. And I'm sure he could do a 16, 18-minute match, and we would think it would be great because they will protect it and do all that. But yeah, get the belt to Cody. He's put in a year's worth of incredible work, and then let's go with the demise of the Tribal Chief story. Let's do that. Let's get that story. Turn Roman face again before he retires and rides off to the sunset. Give me that opposed to trying to shoehorn Rock back into the story.
And we can get the rebuilding of LA Knight. Like, right? Now people are seeing him at his lowest point, and now they're watching him get back to his tallest point. It'd be a nice journey. So once he eventually wins a championship, then boom, he'll be there. Maybe, hopefully, Rhodesia might finally give him a chance. No?
You upset?
50,000 on my head is disrespect. Hey,
you felt that. Hey, speaking of that, whatever. But Jeezy, one of my goats, is releasing a double album on Friday, and he brought back Justice League. If you are a hip hop fan, we haven't heard from Justice League in years. They used to do a ton of Rick Ross music, and I don't know if they had a falling out or what, but they are doing an entire disc just for Jeezy, no features. If you're a young Jeezy fan, this Friday will be it. But when you said 50,000 on my neck, that's Drake. I had to remember who that was, but I digress. So come on, tell us why Roman's going to beat him in 30 seconds and all that kind of stuff.
Because Roman is the real GOAT. As he said to John Cena a couple weeks ago, I'm gone, I come back, and they calling you to go. Where this coming from? Because he's Roman Reigns. He's the head of the bloodline. He's the head of the table. What's a LA Knight to a Roman Reigns?
I did see this quick tweet earlier today. I'm gonna ask you guys, and then we can head out of here. Where would you put? It was from a scale of 1 to 10 for all Roman Reigns. Where would you put Roman Reigns for mic work? Scale of 1 to 10.
8, 9, 8, 9. 8, 9.
Man, that's a good question.
Yeah, because I still haven't really seen him as a successful face where people love and admired him. And then the mic skills it takes to be a great face. He's fantastic as a heel. I'll probably even give him as a 10, but because when he was a good guy, people wasn't behind him. And I know a lot of it was fueled from the hate of Vince overly pushing him, but you get what I'm saying? Like, I don't remember ever me saying, wow, that was a great promo that Roman put on as a face. So I have to take all of that in totality. So I'll say 8.
Man, you got to think about the greatest to do it, right? You got Stone Cold, you got The Rock, you got John Cena. Like, those are, to me, the 3 of the top promo guys ever.
Would you wouldn't put Flair in there?
I'll put Flair underneath.
Okay.
Maybe I'll put him underneath Rock and Stone Cold. Maybe on the Cena level.
Okay, so you put him on the scene, and then the last person I'll throw in, and then just answer. You could be able to answer a question. Where do you put MJF as of right now?
I'll put him under. I think he's Flair level.
So not in your top Mount Rushmore, but just that step underneath.
Because I think Stone Cold and Rock are like 10-5. And I think that like a Cena is like a 10.
Okay.
And I say that because, the John Cena, I mean, he has a silver tongue. And he can get you invested in so many different ways. Ric Flair, like, I was too young to really appreciate his promos back in the day. But his promos in the 90s and beyond, like, they were good, like, right? But they weren't Rock and Stone Cold for me as a fan. Or even John Cena, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I think MJF is right there. Because we're seeing MJF not hit some home runs on the mic. I mean, they're fine. It's a good promo, but he ain't knocking them out of the ballpark. And, Stone Cold and The Rock, there was a time for years where they were knocking them out of the park every time they stepped up. John Cena, another guy, every time he steps up on that microphone. Just what he was able to do on SmackDown the other day.
Yeah.
Like, make a non-fan like me care about his match and his promo. So, but at the same time, MJF's only 25 or whatever. He has time to grow.
Ding, ding.
But he's Ric Flair level, and another person, Dusty Rhodes. I'm not sure where you put him at, but again, I was too young to appreciate his promo. What do you think, Matt?
Roman's a 9.9 as a heel, but Rhodesia made a great point. We haven't seen him outside the big dog, and he had some good times as the big dog too, but it was also a time period where they super protected him. He came out, he would hit 3 lines and they would hit the heels music. I remember those times vividly. So it's hard for me to say like he's one of the best talkers. I would probably put him at like just if you were talking just bloodline, I'd be like 9.9, but we're not. We're talking just overall. I would have to lower him to probably 8 out of 10, and that's still high. I mean,
so who you got, MJF or Roman? Either one, both of you guys.
Oh, MJF.
So, okay, this is where you're gonna probably cut and splice what I'm gonna say and have me looking like I'm an MJF hater.
Ooh, let me mark
do
it.
that.
Go ahead.
We'll never do that.
You got the time. You got the time.
122.16 E. 122.18 E. Got it. We would never do that.
MJF's sample size of time is just not there yet. From what we have seen, I think MJF has the potential, that nasty P word, potential to go down as one of the greatest on that Mount Rushmore. But it's been 4 years that we've seen him. So it hasn't been enough time for me to say he's the best to do it. So far, yes, but we're just now starting to see a faceless side of him now. So I got to see how that is. He has the potential, but I can't put him in that category with those greats that you just mentioned. Not yet. Now, he has a chance to supersede them. But just right now, I can't even compare him.
Oh, I did get the ranking. Hey, real quick. I'll give Roman a 9, and I'll take Roman over MJF.
Okay. Does that change if instead of the bidding war 2024, MJF's like, I'm retiring. I'm done.
That's like Biggie and Tupac, then, right?
Years. Right. So that's what I was
then
going to
yes,
say.
Then he would go down as one of the best. Yeah.
Yep. I was going to say that. That's Biggie and Pac. Pac had like 12 albums. Biggie had 2. But people will look at Biggie as like the GOAT because of those 2 projects. So
he still wouldn't be as good as Flair.
Who, MJF? That's a hard one. All right. So it was that, and then it was for Roman ring work. Where would you put Roman from 1 to 10?
5.
Oh, damn.
Roman he works really slow, but he's an old school wrestler.
Damn, you said 5. That's
nuts.
It's
not that low. It's not that low because then I wouldn't call Roman my favorite wrestler. But again, I had to just be honest. His matches aren't my style of matches. But I get that there's psychology behind it. I'm not privileged to that kind of brain that they have in storytelling. Like a lot of people can see it. It's just not my style.
You sure this isn't recency bias for you? Because he's had some pretty fantastic matches. I think maybe are you thinking just SummerSlam? Are you thinking maybe Mania? I mean, you think about what he did with Sammy. Think about what he did with Logan Paul last year. Think about what he did with who else did he work? Riddle, which was a fantastic match on SmackDown. Think about what he did with Brock, Last Man Standing at SummerSlam. I mean, he's got some certified.
This goes back to him being what a old school wrestler is. You're a big guy. You don't need to be doing all that extra stuff. You shouldn't be doing all that extra stuff. Your punches should be alone, right? So for me, I'm saying 5 as a joke because again, he doesn't have a full arsenal of moves that just captivates me like some of these other high flying and fast moving matches. But you got a point. Could be just recency bias. I think of the manias that maybe he's had where he's the main event, and sometimes like if it's a 20-minute match, the first 16 minutes is very slow.
You learned a lot in this pod. It just says that LA Knight ain't shit. Won't ever be shit. Roman Reigns is one of the worst in-ring main event workers in WWE history. I mean, I just don't know what to say. I mean, I think goodness. Roman's is a great worker. A key thing, worker. You know, like if someone's ideal of being a great wrestler is doing 1,000 moves and 25 hurricanranas, and then it flipped into a Canadian destroyer and land on your head 8 times. If that's the type of match that gives you 5 stars, then we in trouble. But he's a great. I think he's one of the best ever at the WWE main event style. I think he might be the best ever, because one of the things about John Cena, I don't like John Cena's main event style.
I don't either.
Triple H,
Sky Blues.
Like Triple H, I hated watching him wrestle.
I like the H.
I didn't like anything about H. Yeah. I like Executive H. I don't like anything about it. But I think Roman Reigns is the best ever at the WWE style main event ever.
I was gonna say, I think he's better. He's a better worker than he is a mic. So if I put him at an 8 on the mic, I have him at 9.5 as a worker, as a wrestler.
This goes back to what we talked about in the first few pods. What makes a superstar as a wrestler? The character was number one. Mm-hmm. And for someone like me, who the mic skills, and actual wrestling talent, all those can kind of fall to the wayside. Can you just believe in that character?
Yep.
Because
so he's like your Hulk Hogan. He's like your Hulk Hogan, right?
Well,
like,
first off, no,
wrestler,
Hulk Hogan has been eliminated in my memory. He does not exist in my existence.
No, we can eliminate Terry. You can't eliminate Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, I'm talking about Hulk
Well,
Hogan.
I never watched really Hulk Hogan. The only Hulk Hogan I know was Hulk Hogan versus Rock. Icon versus Icon. Don't get me hyped right now. And everybody up in there in the WrestleDome turns on The Rock. I think it was Sky Dome, WrestleDome. I'm doing a Hogan, right? The Super Bowl. What is it? The Superdome. It was the Sky Dome, the whatever dome, and everybody. Rock was over, super over. We get there to Icon versus Icon, and everybody starts booing Rock. Oh no, that's when I knew he was a racist.
Yo, all right.
Go.
Okay, it's time. Thank you guys for listening. We will be back on Sunday to break down Crown Jewel and whatever else is happening in the world of wrestling. Hit us up on our socials. You guys know what it is. That's F&W, Instagram, X, which is Twitter, YouTube. We are That's Freakin Wrestling. Thank you guys for listening and supporting the pod as always. We'll talk to you guys next week. Peace.